According to a report that was published by the United Nations in June of 2017, the world population is expected to grow an additional 2.4 billion people more by 2050. Now, out of this 2.4 billion people, about 1.3 billion, which is more than half of the population, is expected to be on the African continent. Now, Africa consists of 60% of the world's arable land. Now, 79% of the arable land has been untapped. So you can imagine the potential and the great things that Africa can actually do to impact the world through agriculture. According to statistics, we spend $35 billion every year on imports, whereas we have so much arable land. And it is actually projected that $110 billion will be spent annually by 2025. You know, I was at a conference in Atlanta when a renowned professor from one of the southern universities was talking about the importance of agriculture in Africa and the importance of us playing to our strengths as a continent. And shortly after that, I got a phone call from Deepo Adesina, the CEO of Agro Angels, telling me about a wonderful idea where individuals in the diaspora can actually invest in agriculture back in Africa. And not only to make great returns on investment, but to be able to impact lives. So Agro Angels, at the birth of it all, was truly up to something wonderful.
In 2016, I read an article that said Nigerians will starve to death by the year 2050. Now, I couldn't really imagine how a nation of 180 million people could potentially starve to death within a 34-year time span. But after reading through the article, it made sense that if nothing was done about the current state of agriculture, then there could be some challenges in the future. And at that moment, I realized that there was a huge opportunity within the agriculture sector, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as a whole. And I wanted to be a part of it to help in boosting the economy of Nigeria. The only challenge that I had was I lived in the United States and Nigeria is over 6,000 miles away. But I recalled one of my cousins who I hadn't seen in over 20 years who lived in Nigeria telling me that he quit his full-time job as an IT consultant to become a full-time farmer. So I gave him a call and we spoke for about 20 minutes and I told him that I was interested in agriculture, that I wanted to do something. So he recommended plantain farming because that's what he was doing and he was an expert at it. So I decided to start with that. And within 2 weeks, I was able to send him some funds and he purchased close to 20 acres worth of land and they started cultivating on it. Now, what was remarkable was every 2 weeks or so, he would send me videos and pictures of the progress that was going on. And to me, that was very encouraging because that was the only proof that I had to validate that I had a farm and something was being done on it. Eventually, about 3 months later, I decided to take a trip to Nigeria myself to see what was going on. And when I got to the farm, I was in extreme awe just to see the work that was being done and to realize that all this started from an article that I read online. And right then I knew that what we were working on was bigger than what we wanted for ourselves. So when I came back to the United States, I wanted to put something together that could give other Africans in diaspora the opportunity to invest in agriculture in Africa. So I called a few of my friends that I knew were business minded and shared the concept with them. And they thought it was brilliant. And I took it a step further and conducted a survey amongst the broader population of Africans to see if there was a way for them to invest in agriculture in Africa and receive a return on the investment, would they be interested? And more than 70% were receptive to the idea. And right then I knew that what we were working on indeed was a gold mine.
Agro Angels has already hit the ground running. Now, within 6 months of being in operation, we've been successfully able to kick off 2 projects, palm oil and poultry. Now, within the same time period, we've also been able to pay back all our investors with their return on investment. Now, the one thing that I'm really proud of is the fact that 60% of our investors are now deciding to reinvest back into Agro Angels. I believe this not only shows that we're doing something right, but it shows that we're headed in the right direction. Now, originally, our goal was to focus on the Africans in diaspora. But what we're finding out now is that some of our investors are not even from Africa. These are people who simply saw what we were doing, they loved the concept, and they decided to invest.
I made the decision to invest with Agro Angels because I really wanted to add something different to my investment portfolio. To be honest, this was the first time I had anything direct to do with agriculture, so it was a complete new experience for me. Even though this experience was completely new, the very professional team at Agro Angels were right there hand in hand to assist me. The contracting process was very simple and straightforward. When it came up on the 6-month investment period, they were already on the phone calling me to figure out what I wanted to do with both the principal and the interest that I had gained from the investment. Of course, I decided to reinvest, but I really loved that they were very hands-on throughout that process.
Our investors also have the opportunity to visit any one of our farmlands for a tour. And if they're unable to visit, they can just send somebody on their behalf. We also send them updates on the progress of their chosen investment. We believe communication is key in our line of business to ensure that we're able to maintain a great relationship with all our investors.
This is one of our farms. Right now, this farm presently is standing on about 5 acres. We also have about another 55 acres, but they're all scattered in different locations within the same geo zone in Nigeria here. Well, these plants you see were actually planted last year. We'll be doing some harvest, and so far all our clients have been happy and they've been okay with all the produce we've been able to supply them for now. And this year we're actually looking at diversifying to another area, or whereby we're going to be able to store our plantain as dried chips, so that we can actually have at least a supply all year round.
My husband and I decided to invest with Agro Angels because we really wanted to be part of this company that was highlighting the wealth and the resources that Africa has to offer. Our experience so far with them has been outstanding. From the very beginning, we signed a contract, we knew exactly when the investment would mature, and they kept us updated with emails and pictures, and so there was never a time where we had to wonder what was going on. We definitely plan on investing with them again in the future.
Now, 60% of our investors here at Agro Angels are actually millennials, ranging from the ages of 24 to 35 years old. Now, the great thing is that not only are these millennials looking forward to investing and making something meaningful out of their lives, they're actually placing their investment in an area which represents the future of Africa, and that is agriculture.
I invested in Agro Angels because I believe in agriculture. I believe agriculture has the potential to be the backbone of a thriving economy, especially in a place like Africa, with its climate and its natural resources. I spoke with the Agro Angels management team, and they told me their investment strategy and their business strategy, and my potential return on my investment. So with that, I said, you know what? An investment in agriculture is an investment in the people of Africa and the future of Africa.
We believe that we're just getting started. Over the next few months, we're going to be adding additional farm projects to what we currently have, so that people will have more options to select from. And what's also exciting is the additional component that we're adding to our platform. People will now have the opportunity to lease lands directly from us anywhere from 5 to 10 years for their own individual farm projects. And they can leverage our company from a management standpoint, or even sales and marketing, which is a win-win situation. Now, what's beautiful about this is that what we're doing is not just limited to Nigeria. We have people in places like Kenya, Liberia, and even Ghana already reaching out to us for strategic partnerships. So we're very excited to see what the future holds as we expand to these other African nations. I strongly believe that the best time to invest in Africa as it relates to agriculture is now, because the day will come when Africa will not only feed herself, but also the world. And those who invest in agriculture today will not only create wealth for themselves, but also help in redefining the future of Africa. And we are Agro Angels are very excited to be leading the way.